Meghan Markle sat on the soft cream couch opposite Kelly Clarkson, one leg crossed tight over the other, hands folded just so. The set lights glowed warm, but the hush in the audience felt colder than anyone wanted to admit. Kelly's usual grin flickered under the brightness, her stack of cue cards flipping between her fingers like she couldn't find the right one. She started gentle, her voice the same sweet note that filled the studio every weekday. Meghan Markle, thank you for being here. You've been through a lot in the public eye. Tell us, what do you wish people really understood about you? Meghan's smile didn't reach her eyes. Her tone stayed calm, but the edge was there for anyone listening close enough. That I'm not as easy to paint as they'd like me to be. A polite laugh floated up from the middle row but died before it reached the ceiling. Kelly tried again, tapping the arm of her chair. A lot of folks think you've spoken your piece, the interviews, the docuseries. Some say you're just stirring the pot for attention. How do you answer that? Meghan's eyes didn't blink. I answer it by showing up. I'm here, aren't I? Someone near the front row shifted, the hush pressing tighter as the grin on Kelly's face slipped. She flipped a card, glanced down, then back at Meghan. Some people say you're playing victim when you've lived a life most people can't imagine. Palaces, titles. Come on, Meghan, is it really that bad? Meghan's shoulders stiffened. Her voice stayed quiet, the hush catching every word. If you think a palace is a shield from cruelty, you've never sat alone in one. Kelly leaned forward, her voice a notch higher. But don't you think you're feeding it? The headlines. The stories. You say you want privacy, but you're here on my stage. Meghan tilted her head, smile gone now. I'm not here for privacy. I'm here because silence is permission. A soft cracked the hush. Someone squeezed their hands together on their lap. Kelly's fingers tapped harder on her cards. So you're a voice for what exactly? Women? Victims? Yourself? Meghan didn't flinch. All of it. Or none of it. Depends on whether people can stand the truth. The hush pressed tighter, the polite laugh track long gone now. Kelly barked out a nervous chuckle, the corners of her grin stiff. Truth? Or your truth, Meghan? Meghan leaned in, voice calm, eyes sharp enough to cut through the lights. Same thing. Kelly's laugh slipped again, this time like a cough that couldn't find its breath. She glanced to her producer offstage, but no rescue cue came. Meghan didn't blink. You wanted me here. So here I am. Kelly Clarkson's smile twitched, but didn't settle. Her cards drooped in her hand like they'd lost their job. She shifted in her chair, eyes darting to the crowd, the hush pressing tight enough to feel like a secret nobody wanted to say out loud. Kelly tried to pull it back to safe ground, her voice softer, but the edge showed through. Meghan, people look at you and see someone who had it all. Fame, money, a prince. They think you threw it away to complain. Meghan's eyes flickered, but she didn't look away. Her voice stayed level, each word heavy enough that the front row leaned in to catch them. What I threw away was a mask. I didn't come here to make you feel better about wearing yours. Someone in the middle row let out a low whoa, but the hush swallowed it before it could land. Kelly's fingers tapped her knee, fast enough that her mic picked it up. That's not fair. I'm not hiding. This show is about honesty. Meghan tilted her head, the faintest flicker of a grin, but it was cold at the edges. Honesty is telling people what they don't want to hear when you're not paid to say it. Kelly's laugh came out tight. So now I'm fake? My whole show is fake. Meghan's tone stayed calm, softer now. Somehow that made it worse. Not fake. Comfortable. Comfort is cheap. A cough cracked the hush. The band stayed frozen behind the lights. Nobody dared play a note. Kelly leaned forward, her voice clipped, sharp enough to cut through the warmth. You know, people get tired of rich folks playing wounded. You want them to cry for you while they're struggling to pay rent. Meghan's jaw tensed, but her eyes stayed locked on Kelly's. No, I want them to remember that cruelty doesn't care how rich you are, and the truth is always more expensive than comfort. Someone near the aisle whispered, she's going to get kicked off, but no one shushed them. The hush just bent tighter around the table. Kelly snapped her cards against her palm, her grin now gone for good. You came here to preach, Meghan? Or you came here to pick a fight? Meghan leaned forward, elbows on her knees. You invited me here because you wanted the headline. You didn't think I'd write it for you. Kelly's mouth opened like she might fire back, but the words stuck in her throat. The hush held it there. A woman near the front row squeezed her friend's arm. The spin was gone, and they all felt it. Kelly's voice cracked as she tried to force the smile back. Say what you came to say then. Meghan didn't blink. The world loves a fairy tale until the princess wants the crown to fit her own head. The hush shivered. No laugh, no clap, just that truth landing right where nobody wanted it. Kelly Clarkson's cards dropped to her lap like they weighed twice as much now. She pressed her palms to her knees, the fake warmth in her voice flickering out for good. So what is it, Meghan? You want people to feel sorry for you? Is that what all this is? Meghan sat still, shoulders squared, her voice softer than ever. So soft the hush bent and close to hear it. I don't want pity. I want people to stop mistaking silence for grace. A man in the back row let out a low but nobody hushed him. The hush just pulled tighter, wrapped around every word like it was a dare to look away. Kelly's laugh cracked at the edges. And you think this? Coming here, turning this into your soapbox? You think that's going to make people respect you more? Meghan tilted her head just slightly, her smile gone cold. Respect doesn't come from staying quiet, so people stay comfortable. Kelly leaned forward, her voice cutting sharper now, like she was trying to slice through the hush just to breathe. You chose this life. You wanted the fame, the attention. You married into it. Meghan's jaw set. Her tone didn't rise, but the words landed like a slap across velvet. I chose the man. I didn't choose the circus. A ripple of shifting feet cracked through the hush. Someone near the front row whispered, "She's done." But nobody moved. Kelly tried again, her voice brittle. People work 2 jobs just to keep the lights on, Meghan. And they're supposed to cry for a duchess. Meghan didn't flinch. They don't have to cry for me. But they should look at how easy it is to tear down someone who says no. The lights overhead felt twice as hot now. The band stayed frozen, their hands limp at their sides. Kelly's grin slipped entirely, her tone falling flat. So you're a hero now? The voice for the voiceless. Meghan leaned in, elbows on her knees, eyes locked so hard on Kelly the hush felt like glass pressed to skin. I'm not their voice. I'm a reminder they still have one. A woman in the middle row gasped, sharp enough that the hush swallowed it whole. Kelly's hands balled into fists against her cards. If you're going to burn it all down, don't do it on my couch. Meghan's reply came low, so quiet you had to lean in just to feel it land. Maybe the couch is the problem. Kelly's eyes darted to her producer offstage, but no cue card came, no music, no rescue. Just the hush holding every word in place. The grin was gone. The comfort was gone. And Meghan didn't look like she was about to stand up first. Kelly Clarkson's fingers drummed against the fallen stack of cards in her lap. Each tap sounded louder than the band ever did. But the band stayed frozen, their instruments untouched under the glare of the overhead lights. Meghan Markle didn't shift. Her shoulders stayed straight, her elbows resting on her knees like she could sit there all day if she had to. The hush in the audience pressed so tight that the hum of the cameras felt like a heartbeat nobody wanted to claim. Kelly's voice cracked through at first, brittle as glass. So what happens now, Meghan? You sit here, tear down this show, make us look like fools for having you on. Meghan's eyes never wavered. Her tone stayed calm, almost gentle, the kind of gentle that made the words sting worse. If the truth makes you look like fools, that's not on me. Someone near the back row let out a short, shocked laugh, but no one followed it. The hush swallowed it whole. Kelly leaned forward, her grin gone for good, her voice sharp enough to try and claw the hush back open. People are tired of your truth. You know that, right? They're tired of you playing the wounded queen. Meghan tilted her head, smile flickering at the corner, but cold as ice. They're tired because it's easier than looking in the mirror. A soft gasp cracked the hush. Someone's shoe tapped the floor, but no one clapped. Kelly snapped her cards against her knee, the smack echoing. So what then? You want the pity? You want the crown back? Meghan didn't flinch. I never wanted a crown that didn't fit. And I don't want pity. I want people to know the fairy tale isn't worth it if you have to kill yourself to keep it shiny. Kelly's jaw clenched. Her eyes darted to the side stage, desperate for the rap cue that never came. A man near the aisle whispered, "She's going to get kicked off," but nobody shushed him. The hush just braced tighter. Kelly's tone dropped, no sugar left to soften it. You're not going to get the sympathy you think you are. Not here. Not from these people. Meghan's stare pinned her to that couch like nails in velvet. I didn't come here for sympathy. I came here because comfort is what keeps the lie alive. A woman in the front row squeezed her friend's arm. The hush felt like it might snap if anyone moved. Kelly's laugh cracked once more, sharp and empty. Then stand up. Be done. Walk off. Meghan leaned forward, voice low enough to pull every breath closer. No, Kelly. You want me gone. You stand up first. The hush buckled. Not applause, not jeering, just that crack in the air when people feel a lie slip off for good. Kelly's mouth fell open, but no words came. Her cards slipped from her hand to the floor with a soft thud. Meghan didn't blink. She didn't move. She just waited, and the hush made sure nobody looked away. Meghan Markle stayed right where she was, her elbows balanced on her knees like she'd rooted herself to that spot just to make the silence louder. Kelly Clarkson's cards lay scattered across the studio floor, their glossy edges catching the harsh stage lights like broken glass. Kelly's breath hitched, her grin nowhere to be found now. She tried to force out one last laugh, but it died in her throat before it reached the hush. So this is it. You want to be remembered as the princess who stormed out every room that didn't worship you. Meghan's eyes didn't blink. Her tone came soft enough to make the hush bend closer. No, Kelly. I want to be remembered as the woman who wouldn't lie to make you clap. Someone in the front row sucked in a sharp breath. A chair creaked. No applause. No forced giggle. Just the truth hanging there like a storm no spotlight could drown out. Kelly's fingers curled against her palm. You think you're better than this? Better than us? Meghan tilted her head, that half-smile flickering but never warming. No, but I know what happens when you pretend you're less. A cough cracked the hush from the back row. The band stayed frozen. Nobody dared look at the stage manager for the rap sign that wasn't coming. Kelly leaned back, voice brittle as splintered glass. Then go. You want to be the hero? Walk off. But don't come back. Meghan stood up, slow enough that the scrape of her heel on the studio floor felt like a gavel. She didn't rush. She didn't wave. She didn't sell it like a scandal. She just stood there, the hush pressing so tight you could hear the breath catch in the crowd's chest. Kelly's voice came out, small now, the fight leaking out of every word. This is my stage. Meghan's eyes softened for half a heartbeat. Then use it for something real. A single clap from the far aisle cracked the hush, but it didn't catch. It just hovered, a reminder that sometimes people clap because they're scared of the silence. Meghan turned away from the couch, the cameras catching her shoulder as she stepped past the cue mark taped to the floor. She didn't look back. The hush followed her through the curtain, down the side steps, out past the bright grin that couldn't save the spin this time. Kelly stayed frozen, her hands open, her eyes flicking to the red light that burned steady and unkind. Some people keep the stage warm with stories everyone wants to hear. Some people stand up so you remember the truth was never there to be polite. And sometimes the hush is the only standing ovation you get, the one that sticks long after the lights go dark.